This is the XNC Podcast, your Xbox newscast featuring Colt Eastwood, hosting industry interviews and
What's going on? It's your boy Colty. No, I'm just kidding. I don't do shows like that. What's going on? This is the XNC, the Xbox Newscast podcast, and I'm here with one of my best friends in the entire world, Thor 19, the most famous Xbox guy on the planet. Rand, how are you, my friend?
Colt, I was about to, when you did the whole intro screaming, I was about to leave the call. The cringe was too strong on that one. But yeah, thanks for having me on, Colt. You said, oh, you know what, Rand, you'll never be on XNC until you get a camera. But here I am with camera-less. I've broken it. I've broken Colt Eastwood, and he's invited me on without a camera. But yeah, it's true. Me and you, best friends, talk all the time, every day, play games together. So I am excited to be here with you to talk about Halo Infinite and all the good things surrounding Xbox, and it's gonna be a great show, I think. So hit the like button, everybody who's already here. Hit that like button and share this out because it's gonna be a great show.
I love that. Rand is a veteran podcaster and a content creator, and he just takes over my intro and does all the good stuff because he can't help it. That's why he's so great. And as far as bringing Rand on camera, it just got to the point where I just couldn't wait. And we've been talking behind the scenes about this. I think, Rand, you're going to get camera stuff going in the near future. You kind of like to stretch your legs as far as that's going.
We'll
but
see. We'll see.
I just couldn't wait until you were all ready because there's a lot to getting on camera. The background has to look decent. The lighting has to look, make you look pretty. And there's a lot of stuff that has to go on. And you have to be comfortable in front of a camera and not to, bite your nails. But Rand is up for it in the near future. But yeah, what a thank you for being on the show, Rand. Thank you.
Yeah, well, no problem. I mean, I figured we'd do this at some point, being on the show since we're such good friends. But what do we got in store tonight for everybody?
We've got a ton because you and I've spent a lot of this past weekend together, and we've been on Party Chat. We've been playing games together, so we had to get together at this point to talk. So if you're just joining us, this is the XNC, the Xbox Newscast podcast, live on YouTube. I'm the host, Colt Eastwood. I'm here with Thor 19. Over 80,000 subscribers for Rand on YouTube. He does a weekly podcast with Windows Central's Jez Corden. You probably already know all of that, but you should follow Rand. I'll have details in here for you to follow and subscribe. But we're also on demand on YouTube after the show ends, and on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts, and a couple other platforms. If you want to put in earbuds, go to the gym and pump some iron and listen to some Xbox news. But Rand, you're right. We do have a ton to talk about. But this is a gaming podcast, and I follow your example. I want to ask you first off, let's talk about what you've been playing and what's been keeping you busy playing games.
Well, it's been a busy week. So I've actually played a whole bunch. Last Stop, which came out recently. It's on Game Pass. It's a narrative adventure game in the vein of Telltale from the developers of Virginia. So I played that. Enjoyed it's those 3 separate stories that combine in the end. I enjoyed the lead up, but I did not enjoy the conclusion. So, check it out on Game Pass if you're interested.
All that for nothing, huh?
Yeah, well, I didn't have to pay for the game, so I enjoyed aspects of it. But I enjoyed Microsoft. I played Microsoft Flight Simulator, which I know you have as well, because you're always taking pictures And
Yep.
it is what I thought it was, and I'll play it for maybe another hour and then delete it off my system. Not for me. It's a game not for Rand. I also been playing the Ascent, which we played a little bit in co-op. Even though I think we played it 3 times, and 2 of the times there was a lot of issues, a lot of bugs.
Oh, yeah.
And I think we'll talk about Ascent more. So I played that, and mostly been playing the Halo Infinite tech preview this weekend against the bots and against real people last night. And yeah, we got a lot to talk about. So that's what I've been playing.
That's a ton of Xbox gaming, right? Like that's the last stop was it's a multi-plat, but you just recently finished Death's Door, which is like right up there with this little tiny game could become game of the year possibly among other great games. Like, is that what's your game of the year so far?
Game of the year so far, that's a tough one. Like my top 5 currently, and this is in no particular order because I would have to think about it. I got Hitman 3. I have It Takes Two.
Yes.
I have Returnal. I have Death's Door, and I have Resident Evil 7 Village as my 5 favorite games I played so far this year.
It's actually been a pretty good 2021, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has.
So I've actually spent some time away from you and some of my other Xbox Live friends because my kids have had me on Grounded playing. We've been playing like 3-player co-op and building a massive weed stem mansion, and that game just gets better every time I play it. People sleep on that game all the time. Death's Door I haven't picked up since these new games dropped, so I'm in the refinery. I need to go back. Death's Door is really great, but like my skill level I really need to get that up there a little bit better. I've been playing Flight Sim, taking pictures. That game gets better the more I play it. We'll talk about more of that later on the show. And of course, the Ascent with you. I've played with Zocker. I've played with Chris Grinnell. I've played with Asa from Game On Daily. So I've played with a lot of people and started the game over a bunch of times. We'll talk about that too. And of course, yeah, I've been doing the technical preview. Oh my gosh, what a crazy... That was such a nerve-wracking situation while we waited for those invites to come in and waited for everything to go live. Were you cool as a cucumber through all that, Rand?
Yeah, I was good. I
was Rand laughs because he knows I was freaking out because last week people thought I was lying that I got invited in the technical preview. And
you were beside yourself. Yeah. You were
I was a mess.
Yeah, and then you didn't get your invite until the next day. So
yeah, 5 in the morning. Yeah,
you were like, "Whoa!" Because I was on the phone with you, and you're like, "I still don't have it." I'm like, "You check your spam because that's where mine was." And then you checked it or whatever, or I don't know where it was in your phone or in your email.
It was on the browser, like the promotions folder of Gmail. It wasn't visible on my phone where I checked like 700 times. Then I got up in the morning, I looked at the browser, I'm like, hey, there it is. But yeah, I was sweating bullets because you know how people are. It was, but super excited to play that. So, among all that stuff, like it's basically been an Xbox week for sure, right? Let's talk about a spicy topic, Rand. Let's start it off as we got people lining in here.
Are you bringing the sauce? Are you going to bring the sauce right now?
No. I like to bring the spice. I like to just bring a little bit of what would you call it? Just some temperament of console nonsense, but in good fun. Shout out to Fonz Gaming, who's here. Fonzarelli is helped mod the chat. Shout out to Paris, who showed up, and he said he's here to get Rand on the face cam. So, the
more people that ask for that, the less inclined I am to do it. By the way, like seriously,
you're so stubborn.
You incognito keep on like every time when's the face? It's like the more people want me to do something, the less I want to do it. It's got to, you know what I mean? I don't know if anybody else is like that when people push you to do something and you rebel against them. Like, well, if you want me to do this, I'm not doing it. It's, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm kind of like that. And I was just like, you know what? You guys want me to do this? Well, I'm not doing it. So there, in your face.
You're a little stubborn guy, I know. I'll get you situated with the camera and everything, and then everybody will be happy. I was talking about spice, right? So let's talk about something that actually broke this morning. You got the anti-Xbox crowd who was shooting watermelons and bananas in Halo Infinite. Did you see this, Rand?
I I did see it, and I had a laugh about it because it's so stupid. But
So you went and found the video.
yeah, I found the video because you told me about it. I didn't get spoiled because you said be careful. There might be Halo Infinite spoilers in the comments. So I was very careful. But so why don't you lay it out for everybody? So what are we talking about fruit for in Halo Infinite?
So apparently in the Bazaar map, somewhere in the corner of the map, where you hide and camp, I suppose, was a fruit tray of watermelons and bananas, and somebody shot them, and if there was like 5 watermelons there, if somebody shot it once, they all blew up at the same time. And then they compared that with like a Call of Duty map where there was the fruit, and then they shot each individual piece that blew up. Advanced fruit physics in a AAA game, but not in Halo. So that's kind of pretty much what it was. But Alex Battaglia of Digital Foundry made a post today and said, what's with these people who have no concept of how different games have a different focus for their physics and how they design the game? And we've talked about this stuff before, haven't we, Rand? Like, we got your typical straw man argument.
Yeah, I mean, it's dumb because it's console war stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a way to kind of drag down Halo. Like, oh my God, look at this! When you shoot the pineapples or when you shoot the watermelons, they all explode at once. It's not next gen or whatever. And it's just a dumb tweet. Just like, I don't know, the people complaining about when Ratchet and Clank came out and he would move through the foliage and the foliage wouldn't react to Ratchet walking through it. It's like, who cares? You know, Alex is right. Certain things are prioritized, and it doesn't make a game bad because an individual pineapple doesn't explode when you shoot it, or if a character walks through the jungle, some leaves don't interact, you know, with the person. So it's just a bunch of nonsense. Someone looking for likes and retweets on Twitter to get a certain crowd going against another certain crowd. It's old and tiring, you know.
It is. Alex was bringing up Crysis, and he said that how it has the best physics of every game. And I love Crysis too. You could pick up any object and throw it, but it doesn't do anything to the game. You can pick up this stapler and throw it, but it doesn't even add to the game. So I don't know. The more I've been in the console war so long and tried to dip my way out of it, and it just gets to the point where all these games are available to anyone, but like, why are we fighting? I just think, Rand, is it because Halo is getting a really positive reception this weekend? Wasn't it like overwhelmingly positive?
Yeah,
for
the vast
preview?
majority of people's impressions about the game are very positive, even though there's like, you know, some people have small nitpicks about weapon balancing and maybe how good the bots are or whatever, and some tech issues that it does have, you know, some of the user interface stuff and audio dropping out. The reaction is, I think, much more positive than we thought, you know, when the game was first shown off last year. Like, when it was shown off last year, Halo Infinite was a joke, right? Nobody really had a lot of faith in if 343 could deliver a solid and amazing experience that year. And the game got delayed. And we knew by the game getting delayed a full year, it was going to be better for it. And now we played the tech test, and it definitely seems like this is what people want, that it's kind of a fusion of, you know, some of the newer concepts in Halo 5 with what the original, like, Halo 3. It's kind of like a little baby. Like Halo 3 and Halo 5 had a little baby, and it's Halo Infinite. But it's definitely, it's just, I think a lot of people don't like to see the positive reinforcement, the positive news or excitement that Xbox fans have for Halo or the platform. So there's always people out there trying to drag it down, right? Like, and it's unfortunate. So, you know, today we have FruitGate, and I'm sure next week we'll have something different. But it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of anything else that they would have zoomed in on to critique. And, of course, those people probably didn't even have access to the beta. The person that shared that tweet didn't even know what the game was compared to Halo. They're like, hey, what's that game where the fruit's exploding perfectly? And he's like, I don't know. I think it's Battlefield or Call of Duty. It's like, oh. But Paris says it great in the chat. He says, when you retweet or quote retweet these guys, you're giving them exactly what they crave. And today I told somebody that was arguing with someone that I had blocked, I was like, you're giving them the manure they desperately need for nutrients. Like, this is how people are. But, I don't know. FruitGate, what'll be next time? I don't know. This is a good super chat that comes in at an opportune time, Rand. Felix Rayo says, do you like PlayStation, Colt? Have you ever owned a PlayStation? Let me stop there and I'll read the rest.
Do you like PlayStation, Colteastwood?
I like PlayStation. Do I love PlayStation? I like PlayStation. I have a PlayStation 5 right here. I had PlayStation 4 that's now in the other room. I owned a PlayStation 3 at the end of the era for like 6 months. I never owned a PS2 because I was not gaming then. I was going to college and super busy. I owned a PlayStation 1 when it was fairly new. So, yeah, I've owned lots of PlayStations. But Xbox is my preferred platform, and I've always told people that that's my favorite place to play. That's where I'll play most every game. But to make fun of a game like Ratchet and Clank just to say Xbox is better, come on.
Be nice.
Be nice. I mean, we've made these jokes from time to time, right? Like, we make the little console war things. Sometimes we do it among friends because it's harmless. We're not out there griefing someone else for what they likes. But, you know, it's... Rand, I've been in it before. You've seen me before. Like, you've known me for a while. Let's talk about this for a second. Rand and I met over the internet probably back in 2017, right? When my channel was...
Dealer Gaming introduced us, I believe.
Yeah. So we kind of talked in DMs, and you were just starting to really get serious with your channel, and I was getting serious with my channel, and serious as far as just working a lot on it. And but yeah, I was getting pretty messy way back then, more than now. But
Cole, I had to take you to the side and tell you, you should, some of these things you should tweet. Look, I don't tweet very much, and
No.
I know there are a lot of people out there that do. I don't know, like you just attracted the trolls to you. Everything you would do, and I think sometimes you wanted to hit back at the trolls, so you would craft these tweets that are funny, but you would definitely piss off a lot of people. So yeah, I was one of those people behind the scenes to Colt being like, yeah, maybe you should not tweet these things as much anymore. I don't think you want the attention that it brings, because you don't want the attention from those people. Like I think Paris said in chat, like these people are trolls and they get what they want. They get the attention from the retweets and stuff, which is why I never retweet any of those people, and I don't even respond to any of them because I don't want to give them any more attention. But yeah, we've known each other for quite some time. You helped me with my channel. I mean, if anybody doesn't know, Colt makes pretty much 99% of my thumbnails for my videos.
Yeah.
Sometimes when he's too busy, I'll have to make one myself, which is why they look bad. So yeah, like,
will you ever have Zocker make a thumbnail for you?
Zocker would have to pay me for him to make a thumbnail for my channel.
No, it's great. No, yeah, it is a community effort to make content on YouTube and be in this community. Like we all kind of work together, and Rand helps me all the time with video ideas and motivation and how to angle things and how to get information conveyed across. So yeah, it's really cool. Let me finish the rest of this question. Felix Rios says, what games should I be playing on Game Pass right now, and what motivated me to do YouTube? Well, what motivated me to do YouTube is I'm a graphic designer and kind of a wannabe producer, so I was motivated to do that on YouTube. But what you should be playing on Game Pass right now, well, that depends on what you've played. Like, what's new right now, Rand, that came to Game Pass that we've been loving a lot?
What's new? I mean, you would say Microsoft Flight Sim. You're enjoying that quite a bit.
Yeah, and we'll get into Flight Sim because I don't think many people would even want to give that a shot or give it the time. So there's so many games on Game Pass. What recently came out that I can't remember? There's that's like
an upcoming release I'm really looking forward to for Game Pass is Hades, which comes out like in 2 weeks, I think, on the 13th, and also 12 Minutes, which also comes out this month. And Psychonauts 2, which also comes out this month. So I'm struggling to think of something I really enjoyed that's been on game. Well, most of the time I own these games anyways. I don't really use Game Pass too much. Like I used it for Last Stop, which I'm glad I did because I ended up not really liking the game. I'm trying to think of something. I mean, Outriders in April, was me and you played that fully in co-op together, and that was a fun time. But I'm trying to think of anything else recently that's come out.
A lot of people are saying the Ascent, but that's a bit divisive. But yes, I do like that game. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Jonas Lefevre says, "Where's my Randall OnlyFans?" That.
Yeah, people ask me to like open up an OnlyFans or Patreon, and I don't know. Maybe I should. What would you want to see in a Randall OnlyFans page? What type of content would you like to see on an OnlyFans page for me? I don't know. I'm getting worried just thinking about it.
Well, people love to hear you talk. Maybe you could read the back of like cereal boxes or something. Just start slow, start something real, and then move your way into the more crazy Randall Thor voiceover ASMR. Somebody saying beard pics. They want to see your hair. Yeah, I think people just want you to get on camera.
I don't know about that.
How many what's it going to take to get Rand on camera?
I don't know. Maybe people just stop asking about it, and then one day I just show up on camera. I don't know.
Oh, you're so stubborn. But that's why we like you. Rand, let's talk about the PS5. The impossible. Need an engineering degree to put in your SSD.
Do you really need an engineering degree?
The outcry of the most exaggerated problem on console, but maybe not so much compared to Xbox.
Well, I mean, when you compare it to Xbox, it's clearly more steps, right? I don't think it's as horrible as some people make it out to be. I do think it's weird that Sony's having a beta for it. Like, hey, beta test our SSD storage solution or extra storage solution. I think that's kind of weird. And I mean, them as a company is like, hey, we're not responsible for any of the stuff that happens, which is eyebrow raising to a certain degree. But I think you can't. Nobody can deny that Xbox's solution was the better one. I mean, you had the Seagate card. You just plug it into the back of it. Not only can you plug it in the back of your system on the Series X, you can take it to the Series S, or you can take it to someone else's system. It's basically the same price. You remember how much crap Microsoft got for the price? $220, and people were like, "This is ridiculous. It's way too much money." PS5's SSD will be cheaper, and it's not. I mean, sure, you can use a 500 gig one, which is cheaper, but
well, there is a $199 version. I think it's the one that Mark Cerny shared out. The Digital Foundry also said worked. It was the WD Black.
Yeah.
I
think maybe it was the Seagate one, but I mean,
there was two of them then. Yeah, there was two.
I will say it is odd that that's the solution they decided to go with when designing the PS5. But I'm not an engineer. I'm not going to use an SSD expansion slot because I don't need the extra storage. And this is just me being honest. I only play on the PlayStation 5 when there's exclusives that I want to play. And once I'm done playing them, I delete them. So I'm not going to need any extra storage. And PlayStation is probably going to put out a couple games a year, like this year, Returnal and Ratchet.
Like they usually do, yeah.
I beat Returnal and Ratchet, and I've deleted both of those games. So next time I'll turn on my PlayStations for Kenna, and I'll beat that game and I'll delete it, and then I won't have to turn on my PlayStation again until Horizon Forbidden West. I guess the point I'm trying to make is that personally, I don't really care about this because I'm not using it. I'm never going to use it. I bought I think both me and you bought the Xbox One, the Seagate one, day one, because we play virtually everything on the Xbox. And both my internal storage and my storage expansion card are almost full. I could delete some stuff, but I was like, I got some extra space here. I'll leave it, and maybe I'll delete. I'm definitely going to be deleting Microsoft Flight Sim though. That takes up way too much space for a game I'm barely ever going to play.
Right.
I think I don't know. I think just kind of proves Microsoft's decision was the best. I don't know. I don't really have much more to say on it. Like I don't
Well,
think it's the end of the world or just like horrible thing that's everybody else kind of says it is. But I honestly don't care one bit about it.
Well, you and I play almost all of our games on an Xbox, so I have a 4 terabyte mechanical drive that keeps all of my Xbox One and back compat stuff, and then the internal plus my Seagate expansion are like they're almost full. So I don't know. You can swap them out, but who really needs to swap out a memory card to move games to another console? It's pretty rare. But I want to ask you, when you were talking about like their liability, this is a really spicy question, Rand. Do you think PlayStation is in any realm of lawsuit territory with the way they've handled the SSD expansion not coming out till almost 8 months later, and saying that we're not liable if something happens to your console? And one person said that their console was bricked, which I don't believe. Do you think there's any like legal breath coming their way on this thing?
Well, I mean, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know, but I doubt it. I mean, I'm sure their lawyers have gone through this with the fine-tooth comb, and they know what they can or can't get away with. They did always say from the very beginning that the storage solution would come sometime in summer, and it is summer, so it's here. And as far as like, can they get away with saying, hey, this is a third-party product, it might break your console, but we're not reliable? I mean, nobody's forcing you to put an expansion in the system, so maybe they covered themselves there. I don't know.
That's so weird if they say like these are the approved drives, but if one of those happens to
but have
fry
they said
something.
these are the approved drives though? I don't think they have they?
Well, I guess that list came from Digital Foundry. If that's just something that they ran the numbers.
Now, maybe when the beta period ends, PlayStation could put a blog post saying like these are the ones we recommend.
Oh, I
right?
see.
But I don't think they've came out and said like these are the ones that work. It's usually on like Seagate or whoever else will come out and be like, this works with the PS5, right?
Kirby Louise says he's going to check to see if they've talked about what are the approved SSD cards, because some of them are slower or faster than others. But I think it was Sony that said some of these, I don't know if I guess you could call them sticks. Some of the NVMe drives wouldn't get the same performance speed, or they can't guarantee it, so that if you have a game installed on the internal, you're going to get faster loading times or faster calls. I have no idea how that works, but this is like out of our.
Yeah, they did say that it's possible that you won't get the same performance on the expansion as you would on the internal drive, but also I think that's also them just covering their asses, because I don't think they can assure that for all of the third-party drives. So they just kind of be like, maybe it might break your console, and maybe you'll get worse performance, and your load times will look different than Digital Foundry's. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Lord Nader says they need to check with the manufacturer of the drive. Wouldn't it be better if they just commissioned a couple of companies to build an NVMe, like just a basic one, like, because Xbox went with Seagate to build something that was proprietary to Xbox, and proprietary is not always the best way, because then you can't use it anywhere else, and it's usually more expensive. But why didn't Sony just like say, we're going to commission Samsung, WD, and another brand to make these drives to our specifications, and then we will tell you that you can buy them on our site?
I mean, that's a good question. I would imagine the reason Xbox went with Seagate was because they cut them a good deal on those, on the storage expansion cards. Jason Ronalds talked about it, how they expect there to be more manufacturers and bigger or smaller sizes for them in the future. So I think they just promised Seagate, like, hey, you'll get all the sales from this, and we'll cut you a good deal. and you can sell them. Where on the PlayStation side, because of how the system's built, it wasn't a plug and play thing. So they're probably just like, we'll just leave it up to the third parties. I am kind of interested in how many people will go out and buy their own solution for the PlayStation 5 compared to like the storage card being sold with the Series X at stores. Like, you go to GameStop or you go to Best Buy, like it's right there alongside the controllers, alongside like all the accessories. It's just an extra accessory
expensive
for Xbox that you can buy, right? Where it's not for the PlayStation 5. So are they going? So it's like one of those things where are people, regular consumers, are they even going to be aware that there's an extra storage solution for PlayStation? Because most people, we would know, and everybody in chat would know that there is, but like the casual consumer who doesn't follow this stuff wouldn't know unless Sony does say these are the approved drives. And then when you go to Best Buy and you see, the PlayStation setup and it has, here's a DualSense and here's this other stuff, then there's just a section of like, here are the approved drives to expand your storage. I don't know how that would work out. In my mind, that's something they could do, but it just, I don't know. It just, to me, this all just reinforces that, Xbox they had the better idea. It's just, you go to the store, you see it there, you can get it to expand your storage. There's no beta period. It just works. They're guaranteed the same performance as the internal drive, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. No chance of breaking your console like maybe it will with the PlayStation. So, it is what it is, man.
Underachiever has a really good response. He says, you can't buy an M.2 at every store that sells a PlayStation, but you can buy the Xbox expansion wherever you can buy an Xbox. And when you were talking, Rand, it made me think that PlayStation basically took a hands-off approach. Look, you want to expand your storage, it's on you. That's your responsibility. We've put a bay in there. We'll make sure that you know which ones will work or don't work. We're out of it. Because when you said if you go to Best Buy and they may have a PlayStation and the DualSense and the headset, and over here they have the approved drives, I think no way are those NVMe drives going to be anywhere near that end cap or that shelf where the PS5 is. I think you go into Best Buy and you say, my buddy said, you guys sell expanded drives for the PS5. And they're like, yeah, you need to go over to PC storage. There's NVMe, but you get over there. Which one? You ask your standard Best Buy employee, no matter how great they know the store, hey, which one of these NVMe drives works for PS5? I don't know, man. I mean, it doesn't. Let me look at the box. Oh, it doesn't say anything. I mean, maybe a WD black box on the back will say works with PS5, but is that coming? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, PlayStation kind of said, look, you want to do it, it's on you. The bay's in there. Hopefully it works. That's kind of how I think it's turning out. Maybe that's why people are upset.
I mean, maybe. But this also has turned into console war stuff. Like on Twitter,
oh yeah, it has. Yeah.
You got FruitGate, and now you got SSD Gate.
Yeah. And I'm of the stance that, like you said, it's a few more steps, but it's not complicated. I mean, you do have to pull the console out more than you might have to pull the Xbox out to get to the drive. But I don't want to talk about that forever, right?
I have a couple friends who have the PS5 who who didn't even know you should use the base. Like, they just have it like sitting horizontal in their entertainment center. They don't have the little base that you're supposed to use for it. Because I just think some people just don't care about that, And
it works fine without it, doesn't it? Laying down.
Yeah, it works fine.
Yeah. I had it standing up without the base, and then somebody said, "You probably put that base on there. It might fall if there's an earthquake." Okay. Let's see. We got Chris R says, "Rand, all OnlyFans can just be him forced to play Pokemon."
No, that would never happen.
People love making you suffer, don't they?
Yeah, well, I mean, I did suffer while playing Pokemon, and never again. I promised myself, never again, Jez Corden. Hey, but Jez Corden, the official Halo hater of the Xbox 2 podcast, he's been coming around on Halo. You don't recall the whole last year he called Halo a Lego game, and it looked bad, and it played
Well,
bad.
that one screenshot looked horrible. Yeah.
And,
Really, I missed this with Jez.
No, this was a whole thing between me and Jez. This for
like, does
years.
he hate it like I hate Banjo?
I wouldn't say, maybe hate's too strong of a word. Dislikes or doesn't care for maybe is better. But he was really digging the tech preview, and he's disowned Nintendo now. So now I got Jez, who used to be, oh, Nintendo's amazing and Pokemon and Halo's not good. Now, mate, Halo is so fun, and I don't care about Nintendo anymore. So I've won.
That's awesome. I got to play the beta with the Darsh Knight, who's never played a Halo multiplayer game in his life. And I was there the moment he got boots on the ground, and that was really cool. Ellen Chis Return says 343 put out the technical preview knowing that people would zoom in and unfairly review it with no NDA. Shows a lot of focus and confidence. Ignore the haters, my man. What do you think about that, Rand? This was this build was a month old, right? As they said.
They said it was like 2 months old.
Okay.
It was broken off like, back in May, supposedly. Or, back in May would be 2 months, right?
Okay, do you think they wanted to get this technical preview out closer to E3? I know everything's behind.
No, I think it was
everybody.
probably always planned for after E3, around this time. And there isn't an NDA because they needed so many people to test their, AI bots, to test their servers. And remember, the first day they had an issue. It was supposed to go live during the afternoon. It didn't go live until the night. And they had issues with Halo Waypoint with the site loading because it was getting hammered. It was like, they needed to get all the data from all this stuff, and because it's a big release. You're talking about a free to play game, Halo going free to play. How huge is that on PC day one, on Xbox, on last gen on Xbox One, day one on xCloud, so you can play it on you can play it in your Windows PC browser. You can play it on iPhone and Android. There's going to be a lot of people playing Halo. There'll probably be more people playing Halo in that first weekend than ever have played Halo, combined. Well, not combined, but like there'll be more people playing Halo Infinite at launch than there were Halos 1, 2, 3, ODST Reach, right? To the point where they need to stress test their servers and figure everything out.
I mean, it's going to be down the first night. Right?
Hopefully it's not. I mean, what's this tech test for? I understand that's the common sentiment is like, oh, the first night it comes out, it's not going to work. But if they're doing these tests and figuring stuff out, then we hope that they're ready for the onslaught of millions upon millions of people who are going to come play it. Otherwise, did the test really? I mean, I don't specifically know like all the reasons that where they're doing the tech test, but I would imagine server load is one of them, right?
Because I expect a couple million people to jump in moment one, right? Like,
you would think so. Maybe even more than that. I mean, it's free to play on Xbox consoles. It's the biggest. Well, okay. I was going to say it's the biggest Xbox franchise, but I think Minecraft has that title. Firmly, and you can make an argument that maybe Elder Scrolls is bigger than Halo, but I think there's going to be million, and then you add the PC and it's free to play. Colt, you might be talking about 10 million people trying it out that first weekend.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, because Halo's always been that big, so there could be it could be huge, and hopefully it works. Because remember. Gears 5, the debacle with Gears 5, that, we got it early, so everything worked properly. And then when Gears 5 came out, and nothing worked, do you remember? You couldn't even play single player, you couldn't play co-op, you couldn't play multiplayer. And we were sitting there like, we gave this game high reviews, and there was nothing wrong with it. And then, like, game came out, and it was like, ooh, nobody can play. It's like, oh, man.
I was playing co-op or talking to Underachiever who was playing it after it released, because when we played it, 5 days before release, it was like pretty much flawless. I think I had one problem midway through the game. It was a great experience, and he was reporting all kinds of issues. Underachiever asks, I think this question would be better for Rand. He says, will 343 do a full unrestricted open beta for launch to get a realistic test before that launch?
I think I saw one of the 343. I don't know. I think it was John. I think he tweeted earlier that they want to do at least one more large flight. So it sounds like there's only going to be one more flight before launch.
Oh, what?
I don't know. I forget who was the guy from 343 who tweeted it. I'm kind of scrolling through my tweets now to try to find it. But
Brandon Jared?
I don't. It could have been him because he had a chain tweet. The person who tweeted it out had like 5 tweets in a row, like one out of 5, 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5, right? And the last one was like how they were planning to do one more large scale PvP one, like strictly PvP. So any stress, people have to sign up to Halo Insider. So maybe it won't be completely open. But the way the way he was saying was like they want even more people, so to keep on signing up and whatever. I'm trying to find the tweet, but I don't recall. I mean, someone in chat has to know who tweeted this out.
Yeah, last year, I don't know if you remember, I was talking to Major Nelson on my channel about the Halo Infinite gameplay reveal, and I said it looked like you could hit start for a demo. It said start demo. I don't know if you remember that. And he goes,
yeah.
Oh, Colt, that's very interesting. Like, he was like kind of playing around. Like, at that point, they were going to release a small segment where you could run through and fight for 10 minutes. And that never materialized. Like, that build is long gone after a year. But, like, you're talking... Rand, are you saying, like, there's not even going to be a campaign demo or more modes to play?
No, I don't think they'll do a campaign demo.
Yikes.
Yeah, I never expect... I mean, games don't do single-player demos anymore, right? It's just really strictly to test the multiplayer. So no, I don't expect them to do a single-player demo. But at least one more flight with, regular PvP and maybe even big team battle to get a lot of people in to test the servers even more. Maybe we see that in a month. Maybe sometime in September. Because I think we're pretty confident the game's going to be coming out in November potentially. I mean, That's my guess. Like, looking at it now, I'm thinking November 19th or November 23rd, depending on when Call of Duty launches. Because you look at it, it's like, I bet you Microsoft really wants to launch Halo Infinite on the 20th anniversary of the first game. I mean, the marketing writes itself, right? 20 years later, Halo Infinite on the same day Halo Combat Evolved came out. But Call of Duty, we still don't know when it's launching. Doesn't look like it's going to be in October because October's packed. So Call of Duty is sitting there. Last year, I believe they launched the Friday, like November 13th. So if they kind of stick to the same schedule, that would be November 12th, which would be 3 days before the 15th. I can't see Microsoft launching Halo 3 days after it because I don't think it would be good for Halo or Call of Duty. And Call of Duty is also a big moment for Xbox. It's a huge game. It brings in a lot of people buy it. It brings in a lot of revenue. And Microsoft has to be a good partner to Activision. So I look at it and I'm like, well...
Somebody has to.
So I look at it like if Call of Duty is the 12th, then maybe we see Halo launch the 19th, which is the week before, Black Friday and the big shopping season. Maybe Microsoft just decides to opt to release Halo Infinite on the 23rd of November, which is the week of Black Friday, and then they kind of time it with a huge restock of Series X and S to go with the launch of Halo Infinite. So people
they need that so bad.
So people who want to play it can go get the consoles, and it's Black Friday, and people, that's when the Series S will probably do a lot of pick up. A lot of people will buy it because that's when people are buying gifts for their families, and Series S is going to be, right there. $300. You want to play Halo, you want to play Forza, you want to play Battlefield, you want to play Call of Duty, you want to play FIFA and Madden. This system can do it, and more than likely, the PS5 will be sold out because it's very popular. Series X will be sold out. As every time they get restocked, they're sold out. So that's when I'm thinking Halo is going to launch, the 19th or the 23rd.
What about Battlefield?
Battlefield's already scheduled for the 21st of October, I believe, or 22nd.
Okay. Haven't we seen a little bit of proof that Game Pass is out of like the blast zone? Like, it doesn't matter that if you launch next to another big game, the game will still sell. I thought we had an example of that earlier this year, but
no, there is some of that, but also like I think Microsoft wants to give a wide berth to COD, right?
yeah,
I think
absolutely. We were talking about this today.
Yeah,
Because Crossfire X is another game. Remedy's going to put out this big Call of Duty style first-person shooter with a big competitive multiplayer suite from Smilegate, and that could possibly release in November. And so you and I were talking today on the phone that Phil might be sitting back going, you know that meme of the kid looking at the two cookies? Like he's looking at Call of Duty and Remedy, and he's got to fit Halo Infinite in there. He's got to serve Game Pass and all the platforms where all their games are going, and you got to get that just right, because one could hamper the other. Call of Duty will come out shining. People play it like crazy. Let's take a break from Halo Infinite for a minute. Brandon the man asks a question. Hey guys, do you think Microsoft will have a streaming stick or smart TV app out by the end of the year? Will it be 4K? And he adds, Rand, you'll like this, you both have the best Xbox vids.
Ooh, thank you. Ooh. I mean, Colts are way better than mine. Like Colts like a million times better than mine. So I appreciate you saying that my vids are as good as Colts, because they aren't. They're way worse.
I don't think there's as good. We talk to all these people and we look at their comments. People just love watching information about their favorite platform. And I know you and I love to talk about the games and talk about what's being built. And sometimes people are like, can't wait to hear our take on it, which is super, super, super. We're grateful for that. So that's awesome. So this streaming stick, I don't know. It's not going to be a 4K thing. I wouldn't think. I haven't really given that much thought, but is there a streaming stick, or is that like smart TV app coming anytime soon?
No, I think there's a streaming stick. I mean, Phil basically alluded to it when they talked about it. I don't know if it's coming this year. Probably, I would say it's probably coming next year. So yeah, I think we'll start to see maybe Game Pass app hitting TVs, smart TVs this holiday. But another piece of hardware, I would, if I had to make a prediction, I would say that the streaming stick is next year, 2022, for fall. I don't think it's going to launch this year, personally.
And so does this streaming stick also facilitate the connection to the wireless controller?
I would presume so. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
I have an LG, and then there's all these popular TV brands. Doesn't the LG have Bluetooth capability, or does it use Wi-Fi Direct? I don't know about that stuff.
I don't really know. Yeah, I just use my OLED to play video games and watch Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime and movies. So. And
the occasional dealer gaming video, right?
Actually, I don't use YouTube on my OLED I don't watch YouTube on my OLED. I watch YouTube on my crappy 1080p 26-inch PC monitor.
You do?
Yep.
Oh, that's funny. I've always wondered where people watch most of the content. I watch a lot of it on my phone.
So all your videos that you do in 4K, Colt, I only see it in 1080p.
In your little pleb monitor?
Yeah, my little 26-inch monitor.
Mav, or Fun Speculation, says, donation to Colt. He sent $5. He says, donation to Colt to beta test his PS5 with an M.2. Come on, Colt. I know you want to take the risk. I am exactly like Rand. I don't need the extra storage. Rand and I only play exclusives on that white ivory tower. That's a reference to Never Ending Story. That's what it looks like. It looks like the ivory tower. I only play exclusives on it. So, yeah, when I'm done with the game, I leave them on there, actually. I wait until I need to install a new game. Like when Kena Bridge of Spirits comes out, I'll pick which one of the games I want to uninstall, which probably will be Days Gone, because I've just played it to see how it felt. But, yeah, I don't need to expand the storage over there on the PlayStation, but Xbox, give me a stack of cards, because there are a ton of games. We're going to talk about that too, Rand. Let's talk about that. Let's go right into that one. It's further down the list, but Xbox has a very packed 2021, which is in shock and surprise to what most people thought was available on the launch year for the Xbox Series S and X. Because it's got no games! Right, Rand?
Xbox has no games. I mean, that's the meme. So what are the games we're working here with, Colt? I know you love lists. You compile all these things.
I love lists. I love lists. I love graphic infographic list because it really hammers home. It really hits people over the head because sometimes when people are making arguments or they're trying to figure out what's going on with the consoles, they don't always they never bother to go back and check, and it takes a little effort. But the Xbox did start off with Gears Tactics, which was already on PC, another Gears game, but rated really well, right? And then the Medium came out, and it runs at 30 FPS, and it didn't get an 80 Metacritic. So we had that. We had the Falconeer, and then Gears Hive Busters, which doesn't really count. But now we've got, I won't go in order from there, but now we've got the Ascent. We have Halo Infinite. We have Forza Horizon 5, which is probably one of the best looking games ever. We have your favorite, Death's Door.
Oh, yeah, Death's Door.
Death's Door, which didn't come to Game Pass, but is a $20 game, or I think 16 or 18 if you bought it.
It's $20. It was on sale when it first came out. And Colteastwood still hasn't beaten it yet.
Oh man, can you remote play and get me past one section, and I'll go from there? We've got Scorn, which is super weird, but I think still on track for 2021. That's the first-person shooter where everything's made of bone and flesh. And,
I just kind of have this feeling that we're getting an announcement that game's delayed to next year, but I mean, because Exomecha just got delayed today, right, to next year, so.
Yeah, Exomecha is like the free-to-play multiplayer first-person shooter with all the shiny gear that looks like it's ray-traced, made by a pretty small studio. It looks like oh, I'll mess around with it, but yeah, it's probably spring 2022. We have Flight Sim already out. Of course, is Grounded coming out of its preview anytime soon?
No, I think Grounded 1.0 will be next year.
Next year? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if this counts, but we had a huge expansion for Sea of Thieves. Did you even play this?
Nope. Sea of Thieves is not my thing.
Yeah, it did some cool stuff, but it's still the game that I've always thought it was forever. I've had some fun with friends, but it's mostly because we're laughing and making pirate jokes the entire time. This is an exclusive, but Psychonauts is looking like it's going to be something else, huh?
Yeah, well, the game comes out on the 25th. So what are we, like 3 weeks away?
3 weeks.
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be a quality game, and it has me excited for what else Double Fine can pull off with Xbox. So.
Yeah, you and I played that. They sent us a preview build that gave us access to 2 or 3 levels. About 15 hours worth of gameplay, right? What did you end up putting in, do you think?
I wouldn't say it was 15 hours worth of gameplay. I probably put in like 6 hours. There was a point where I was just like, man, I want to save some of this for the actual release. So
yeah, they gave us 3 levels. Was it? I can't remember. I didn't even get through
5. I think.
Yeah, I didn't get through all of them, but that one kind of surprised me.
Yeah, and you know what comes out right before that? That's exclusive is 12 Minutes, and that is a game I'm really looking forward to because I love time loops. And this is a game
you love
where
you some William Dafoe.
You got William Dafoe. You got James McAvoy. You got Daisy Ridley about a man stuck in a time loop. I don't know. It just seems really creative, and I can't.
Does
wait
that game
to play
actually physically reset after an actual 12 minutes of unpaused gameplay is passed?
No, I don't. I want to say possibly that. Yeah, every 12 minutes. You start the day over or whatever. You start the thing over, and you can choose different things. And I don't know, like I just really, it just sounds like a game up my alley. I'm super excited for that. So I know that's another exclusive that's coming out soon this month. Like August is packed.
Oh yeah, there's like a game every 2 weeks on Xbox or at least on Game Pass. Well, I mean, there's a couple games like Back 4 Blood is not an exclusive, but it's a big game that's coming to Game Pass. That's a big get. We talked about Crossfire X. They're still adamant that's coming out, so I think that might be a December game. If I was them, I would push that game to December and get away from the rest.
Man, if I was them, I'd launch it next month. But
but they're not ready.
Yeah,
how about this one? This one's promising, but I think we're going to hear about a delay soon. The Gunk.
Yeah, they keep on saying Gunk's 2021. We didn't see it at the E3 show. We haven't seen it anything since last year. So when you start not hearing about stuff, like remember when you were talking about, man, where's Warhammer Vermintide or Warhammer Darktide?
Yeah, they were like,
right? And then like you
Yep.
didn't hear about it, and then it wasn't even in that roadmap that Xbox posted after E3, and it was just like, oh well, they must know it's being delayed. And then sure enough, like a couple weeks later, they delayed it to spring of 2022. The only thing that makes me feel possibly good that Gunk might come out this year is it was on the roadmap for 2021. So at least whenever they made that, the developers were being like, yeah, we're still on track. So maybe Gunk can come out. Obviously, like it can't be next month because they would already have announced it by now. So maybe that game could be a December title, maybe late November. I don't know. It's just starting to get really packed once you get into October. So
well, no one is immune to the delays of what's gone on the past year and a half, right? We've learned that this week.
Yeah.
Horizon Forbidden West looks so awesome, but that game we were sure was never making 2021. Not in this atmosphere or this environment of what's been going on. And can I give an editorial, Rand? I think I said this to you.
I mean, it's your show. So you can do whatever you want.
Some people are like, yes, go ahead, Guerrilla. Take all the time you need so the game doesn't come out broken. And in my opinion, PlayStation games aren't usually broken. I think if they get delayed, they're not finished. And we see so many developers who put out games that are broken and then they patch them a week or two in, like the Ascent, which we'll talk about in a minute. But what I know about Guerrilla is they make a quality product. So I just expect that they're just not ready. Those games don't come out broken. That's my opinion of PlayStation games. They just need more time, and I think everybody needs more time. But what I wanted to say about, I was looking at a graphic I made while we were talking about those games, is there's 18 games coming in 2021 or are out and will be out. But originally, what was the number that Microsoft was puffing their chest about at the beginning of the year for 2021?
They were very, what did the article say? 30 games or something like that? It was 30 titles because I made a video about it. And
I did too.
Yeah, a couple of them been delayed already. So
half of them, basically.
A lot of them. Yeah, it's just the state of the industry. Like games get delayed because of, COVID, pandemic. It just it affects everybody. I know there was this thought that Sony was immune to this. I don't know if you remember. A lot of people talking about that, like people. We were always being like, "Oh man, COVID really affected Halo and a lot of Microsoft development," and then people would be like, "You're using an excuse for Microsoft. Sony, they got out these games and they're not affected by it." But it's like, yeah, they were. I mean, Halo, Horizon, Gran Turismo 7, and God of War all got delayed to next year, and it's because of COVID. COVID's a big thing. A lot of games got delayed from this year. I mean, Ubisoft is like, hey, our games are coming out this time, and then oh no, sorry, they're delayed to later. COVID's gonna affect a lot of stuff for this year, next year, 2023. It's just the state of the games industry, man. It's tough working from home, especially when you're a big studio and you're not set up properly. Like these studios have state-of-the-art PCs and easy access to builds and all that stuff where like you're working from home and that person may not have easy, a super awesome PC, and builds might take longer to get sent to them to fix stuff, and you got to do Horizon's got to do Horizon's got to do mocap, right? And mocap was basically non-existent during COVID, so it's just really it sucks, and we don't want any game to launch when it's not ready. Like Halo Infinite needed to be delayed a year, clearly. And Horizon will be a better game for the delay, whether it's 3 months, 4 months, what have you. It's just, I mean, I understand like people are excited to be able to play that game this holiday, and then be like, oh man, 2022, but it's not like you have to wait that long. Like November to February or March is a pretty, it's pretty short time span. So you'll be playing it soon, and it'll probably be a wonderful experience. I was listening to another podcast, and this guy was a developer.
You were?
Yeah, and he thinks it's the PS5 version that's the issue. He thinks like if there was no
Horizon Forbidden
PS5,
West?
that if there was no PS5 version, that they'd be able to launch it on PS4 this fall, because like that's what the game was built on when they originally started development of Horizon Forbidden West. Right when it came out in 2017, they probably started development 2018. He was kind of saying that he feels that it was the PS4 version that probably has the issues and they can't get it fixed in time. But if it was just the PS4 version, it would be launching this holiday. And that was an interesting take that I didn't really consider. How cross-gen might impact a lot of development and stuff. So
there are very few next-gen only titles. And when you said earlier that Halo Infinite didn't look next-gen in the technical preview, that game is never just to next-gen. It was always built from the moment one to be on the Xbox One and Series X, right? And Scarlett. Like, that was always the intention. And Horizon Forbidden West looks really good, and it's just going to look really great on a PS4 at 30. I mean, that's just how games...
30?
Filmic.
Ew, disgusting. I don't want to play in 30 frames.
Yeah. Well, if you're just joining us, I'm here with Randolph Thor 19 of YouTube fame and the Xbox 2 podcast with Windows Central Jez Corden. Rand is nice enough to be here, audio presence to talk about gaming. And this is Colteastwood, and this is the XNC podcast. And if you're listening in audio form, that's because we're on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. That show goes up on demand after we finish going live. But thank you to the 800 people who are here chatting and kind of adding to the conversation and correcting us on things and giving us more information. You're make the show.
Button. Hit the like button.
Yeah, I never
Share
asked people to hit the like button.
Come on, Colt. You gotta ask the people. Like, listen, just click that the like button. It's free. It helps out a lot. And you mentioned Xbox 2. When are you gonna get Jez on here? He's got a camera. He reviewed one. If he came on here, he definitely,
I would love to get Jez on, but I am also very respectful of people's time, and he lives in Germany, so it's like 4 in the morning when the show goes up. So that darn curvature of that earth just gets us once again. But you know what, Rand, it worked. You said hit the like button, and they're doing it. It only takes a second. I like to go and hit the like button, and it shows people your support. You should bring in the Windows Central dynamic duo and get Jez on here alongside Miles Dampier. Oh, Miles is great. I've had him on my show once, and he's so great. We were playing this weekend together. We played a couple sessions of games, so he's a fun guy to hang out with.
Yeah, Miles is awesome.
He is awesome. Wolf Assassin says, for some reason, I believe Halo Infinite could take the top spot on this year's Game of the Year. But what's going on with Crossfire X or Scorn? That's crazy. He asked this question about 20 minutes ago as we were kind of covering it. So very, very smart. He's keeping to it. He says, any thoughts on the rumor that Compulsion... Oh, I want to give this one to Rand. He says, any thoughts on the rumor that Compulsion is working on a Banjo remake?
I mean, the only things we really know about what Compulsion is doing is that it's a third-person game. Why
are you laughing?
Because
oh my gosh!
Because I know you, Colt, right? You don't like Banjo, right? You're very vocal about your dislike for Banjo, and you've always said, "Listen, if you want to bring back Banjo, just maybe hire somebody outside, hire a second party to do it." You don't want anybody from first party unless it's maybe
yes,
rare.
I don't want anyone from Xbox Game Studios spending time on Banjo.
You would be very upset if Compulsion was bringing back the bird and the bear.
Oh gosh, when you say it that way. Well, I don't know what Compulsion could do other than I liked a few things about We Happy Few, but I'm not quite sure. They're the only wild card in the whole group of Xbox Game Studios with Bethesda included. I know what they can do. It's Compulsion. Now that they have more people and they've asked for more money. They're the only wild card. Like, I don't know what to expect from them, Rand.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect from Compulsion either. I mean, I have had my thoughts that that Compulsion could make a banjo. Like, there was an interview with Phil where he basically was saying like, oh, someone asked him like, what two studios new games do you really want people to see, and he answered it was basically like the initiatives. When this was before the Game Awards, and he was like, oh, the initiative and what they're building, and that ended up turning out to be Perfect Dark, right? You know, them bringing back an old IP. And he also mentioned Compulsion, and I started thinking like, well, what if he mentioned those because people have been asking for Perfect Dark to come back, and people have been asking, I think more people have been asking for Banjo to come back.
They have a ton.
What if like you have in the initiative bringing back Perfect Dark, and then you had Compulsion doing a Banjo remake or Banjo 4 or whatever it would be. And that's why Phil said he couldn't wait for people to see what worlds they were building. But then it's like, I don't know, I sort of kind of feel like Compulsion's next game is going to be more BioShocky, more Deus Ex-y, like that type of world, that type of gameplay loop. It's just something I thought of, like, oh, what if Compulsion was doing Banjo? But we don't know yet, and that's truly like exciting because you can look at Xbox's studios and like we know what 343 is going to do and the Coalition, and we know what the type of games Obsidian makes and In Exile and stuff like that. And then there was just a Compulsion, and you kind of look at them and you're like, man, they could really make anything. If it's a new IP, they've only really made 2 games, Contrast and We Happy Few. So it's like they're not really pigeonholed into anything like something like say Undead Labs is with State of Decay, right?
Yes.
So,
yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I did recall hearing Jeff Grubb say that their new game is scheduled for 2023, which seems like that's when all the Xbox games are scheduled for 2023.
Yes.
Like
and then all the delay carryovers packing up 2022. I have to say, because Paris said the Banjo slander hurts his soul. Most of my stubborn Banjo stance comes from, and you'll remember this, Rand, like over a year and a half ago, when I wanted Xbox to represent mature gaming, which they hadn't done for a while. But now when I look at all the studios, ever since Bethesda got picked up, and some of the games that have been shown, there are way more mature games on Xbox than they've ever had. So now, when Phil said like 2 weeks ago that we need more E for everyone and family-oriented games, when he said that, I'm like, now I agree with him because Xbox has a bunch of horror games, they have a bunch of shooters, they have a bunch of mature like fighting games, like I don't know, you know what I mean? Like Stalker is not their game, but they showed all these creepy games. And I thought, man, they've got a lot of mature stuff, and they need to fill out Game Pass with some stuff that like I can play with my kids. And my problem with Banjo is I went back and played the original, and I didn't play it at the time. So when I play it, it's like, and I'm like, oh, this is awful, but it just doesn't hold up. But I didn't grow up with it. So one more thing, we'll close this out, Rand. But I've always said, they can do Banjo if they hire Sumo Digital to do it, because Sumo Digital's awesome. But what happened to Sumo Digital?
I mean, Sumo Digital was bought by Tencent, but you can still make a deal with Sumo. Tencent doesn't really seem to be changing anything about the studios they buy. What about if you made a deal with the people who did Yooka-Laylee?
That's what I said.
Guys.
Give Platonics the game,
Platonic.
because they basically just changed the name, because it's Yooka-Laylee, which is Banjo-Kazooie, just pronounced differently. It's the same type of game. And I always tell people, if you want Banjo so bad, did you get all the achievements in Yooka-Laylee? No. Like, then you don't want Banjo. But I'm just being a jerk. But no,
yeah, you are being a jerk. Let the Xbox fans have their look. I'm not a fan of Banjo. But I would be, if they do bring it back, I would be happy for all my Xbox brethren out there who want Banjo to come back.
That's why people love Randall Thor. And I'm going to change my tune starting today. How about that?
Yeah, you better. You better.
Carmos1970 says, Seagate as of today said it'll be releasing compatible PS5 NVMe drives with compatibility written on the box. Funny that they also make the Xbox Drive. Well, that's a good thing to hear. Wolf Assassin said, how much does the chat have to pay for Randall Thor to do a face reveal? Not a photo, because we've seen your face.
The funny thing about the whole face reveal thing is, I literally my pinned tweet on Twitter is a picture of me with Phil Spencer, Major Nelson, and Mike Ibarra. Like, there's video of me breaking 1 million gamer score on Xbox's channel. I even have that video on my channel, right? I used to host a podcast back in a few years ago called TXR, the Xbox Roundtable, where I actually was the host and on camera as well. Not that many people remember that, but that's the truth. Now the channel has since been deleted, so you can't get any. But I'm sure there's people in chat that remember TXR and remember when we were doing it with like Maka and Tim Dog and Southbound and all those guys. I was on camera. So I don't know. We'll see. Like, I'm not against the idea of it. It's just that I like the way I make my videos. Colt, because I usually call you. My video making process is very last minute, and I just kind of like the idea of just, okay, I'm gonna talk into a mic. I'm gonna edit my audio. I'm gonna lay the video down, and I'm done. I would have to kind of redo how I sort of do it now, where it's like, okay, well, now I need to have some great lighting and record at a certain time and all that different stuff. So, it'll happen eventually, probably, most likely. It's just, not right now.
It is funny how someone will say like, hey, this happened, do a video. And like, for me, it's like, I really have to ramp up. Everything has to come together to do a video. I have to make sure that I take a shower, that I look good, because I'm going to be on camera for a few seconds or a minute or two. And like, when you record your audio, like, you record everything you want to say, and you go through and make sure that you've covered everything before you put it in and start building the video. Like, it's a process that we love, but we really want to make the videos the best they can. And Mo B sends a super, says, Colt and Rand are my two favorite YouTubers. Love the show.
What about Lady Foxfire in the chat? Says, you guys are awesome. Keep up the great work, for the super chat. Thank you, Lady
Foxfire. Yeah, Lady Foxfire is awesome. She's been a force in the community for a long time. I think I followed her way back in 2017. So there's incredible people, and I see everybody in the chat every day. I see them in your chat. I see them in your video comments when I go in there and say Randall Thor is a fraud, and then I leave.
Oh, look at these super. You got K3 saying chop liver Randall Thor. I'm your biggest fan. We have the one and only Gaming Forte.
Oh yeah, chat. Gaming Forte.
You missed that.
What did he say? I've got them all right here.
Okay, you got them all. He says, I'll hit the like button if Rand turn on his camera. In all honesty, great job with the show. It's been a mainstay in my rotation since you started. Shout out to Forte. We played some Halo that first day, and we had to carry him. Me, Attic, Incognito put Forte in our backpack. So
Forte's an MLG. I played Mass Effect 3 multiplayer on back and pat with him one night, and we were dominating at like 640p, 30 FPS. It was incredible. Compulsion Games. This is from Crazy Horses. Compulsion Games is working on a third-person game with BioShock and Uncharted elements. We've heard that before. You said that like you said it like it's you just have this feeling, Rand. You have.
I think they've talked about it, some of that stuff, and we know because they were on Iron Lords. Shout out to Lord Cognito, King David, Lord Addict, and Lord Sovereign for always. Having a great show on Sunday, the Lord's Day. They were on and they mentioned that their game is third person. So we know it's third person. I think it's I'm interested in seeing what their game is going to be. More so than a lot of other ones, because it's something that we have no idea. They're not tied down to any franchise like we know some studios are. So yeah. Oh, what is this? No, we switched over to gameplay.
Well, actually, I think I was
gameplay. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'll start this and. Bear with me if my internet starts chopping up when I do this gameplay. We'll just kind of work with it. But let's talk about Flight Sim for a minute. Rand, I'll let you say something first, since it's not.
You can talk about Flight Sim. I'll just listen to you.
So,
you want me to talk about it? Okay? So, how do I say this in the nicest way? This game is not for me. okay, not every game is not every game is for every person, right? I downloaded it because I wanted to fly over my house and see what it looked like. I wanted to fly over Comiskey Park, where my Chicago White Sox play, and see what that looked like. I wanted to fly over Soldier Field and see what the Chicago Bears Stadium. I wanted to fly downtown Chicago, so I did all that. I flew and I did some of the discovery flights where they show off some really cool locations. It's just not for me. Like, I don't really find the flying all that enjoyable. Even though the game looks incredible, I just I don't know. It's just not something that when I get on Xbox, I'm thinking, you know what, I want to take to the skies, and I want to fly, and I want to fly under the what is this, the Golden Gate Bridge, or fly over the UK or whatever. It's just, I don't know. It just doesn't. It's not something I'm very interested in doing. So, with that said, I'm probably going to delete it because I do need the space because I play a lot of games. I'm not going to talk bad about the game because it's clearly it's not for me. It's not a game I enjoy. Just like when you talk about like sports games, like it's like I'm not going to play Madden, so I'm not going to talk badly about it. Like you, however, you've been playing a lot of times. Look at these maneuvers you're pulling off here.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Like, right on the precipice of ripping the wings off. You have to be really careful. But yeah, I was the same way as you, Rand. Like, I was transparent with people. Like, I'm not going to play a ton of this, but it's one of the coolest things that's come to console. But I took time away from the Halo Infinite beta here and there this weekend, getting into this game. Look, I'm going to make a landing here in a second. Like my first real landing, but I just went to different locations around the world, or around the US that I've been, and went to different locations and just kind of flew and got into the photo mode. And this game is really, really impressive. But there's that whole thing like, oh, it's not a game, and people are being obnoxious about it. But I don't know. I'm just kind of curious to see what other people are saying about the game. But I flew over the city that I grew up in when I was a kid. I flew around my city and got screenshots around different locations. Flew over my house. My house looks ridiculous. Like, they just kind of they take the roof from Bing Maps and then they extrude in 3D. When you bring something up, they bring up some fake house. So my house looks really obnoxious. You can see the trampoline in the back and the play set. So yeah, it's just, I don't know. I was playing with Darge and Chris Grinnell and Underachiever in a party chat, and we were all just kind of talking about our different experiences, and I just thought it was cool. But I mean, that's just kind of that's a game that you just won't get anywhere else. I really like it.
It's impressive that you have a full flight sim game on console, not only on Series X but also on Series S. This game works on Series S, and it's really impressive that, like, for the first time you have, I mean, like it's the whole entire world, right? When you were looking at the map and it's like, where are we going? Like, remember that night it was thundering and lightning around my house, and we spawned, and I'm flying through, and there's just lightning everywhere, and that was super cool. But like, yeah,
and it was it was midnight or 1 a.m. in Chicago area, so we were flying over the area where you live, and you had thunder outside, you had lightning storms outside, and we had live weather, and it looked like the ground was being lit by a huge flash, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was really cool. Let's talk about the Ascent, since I've got this on here now. This was to be like one of the big games, or not a big game. This had potential to be a big rated game. So we thought. I don't know if you want to share like how that was kind of unfolding for you.
So, I mean, I think this game had a lot of potential. I think the way the game looks and how it's like handcrafted, with all these detail packed into like every single corner of the game, is ridiculously amazing. Like, it's one of the best looking games on console, I think. And like, you get into the big open world, it reminds me a lot of Blade Runner 2049 and stuff like that. And there's just, I feel like the game it should have been delayed another month. They because
Yep.
the problem the game runs into is it has glitches and it has bugs. Because like the actual gameplay is fun. Like it's a very solid twin stick shooter, very solid, and the world they built is super cool. Like I love walking around to a new area and seeing some things I didn't see before. But we tried playing it in co-op, and it just wasn't fun. There was a time we were fighting a boss, but I ended up being stuck in a menu and I couldn't do anything, and the boss wasn't attacking anybody, so you could easily beat him. I've had the game hard crash
goodness.
in co-op. I was.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, and then maybe some of the more frustrating aspects of it are going to an area and not being able to progress because you know maybe you shouldn't be at this part yet, or you don't have the right tools. So it's like you get all the way there,
door won't open,
or the door won't open, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I've had it where it's like I needed to restart the game to actually get certain things to spawn, like a boss to spawn, or you know, like a computer terminal to be able to hack. So I sort of feel the glitches and the bugs that the game has kind of detract from the overall experience. Like they nailed the aesthetic of the game, the feel of the game, the world that they built. I just kind of wish they spent another maybe like month polishing it up a little bit so to make sure that co-op worked flawlessly, and that a lot of the bugs that we experienced with some of the side missions and stuff didn't happen, because while I was really into it in the beginning, the more I played and the more issues I ran into kind of really sapped the enjoyment out of it for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I also feel like they tried to do a little bit too much. Like some of the RPG aspects with like your armor, you could lose that. Like it tries to do too many things when it really should have just focused on being like a twin stick shooter set in a really cool world, and instead of trying to be this like RPG with all these different things going on, because I don't really think the RPG stuff is well implemented. But I mean, it's cool. I mean, they have a cool world here that they built, and I mean, I haven't beat the game yet, so I don't know if there's a sequel potential. Maybe there is, and if so, they can improve upon this. But yeah, I mean, what do you think? I know we played it a little bit. You've been playing it. I think we're at the same point where we're playing it in single player because of the problems. What do you think of the game?
I think that, 1 more month is all they need, or 2 weeks to patch the game. The sound and the music and the atmosphere and the visuals are like top tier. And the gameplay feel is like way up there. It's like an 8 or 9. And just being in the world is super cool. Like sometimes better than Cyberpunk 2077. Although I liked being around in that world in first person. So it's a great game. But I had problems where I couldn't get through a door that was locked when it was supposed to open by a computer. So that side mission is totally not going to happen. I've gone to doors that open up, but the character won't walk through because the X prompt won't pop up that allows your character to transition into the next loading screen. I've had crashes. I've had audio bugs that drop in and out. Sometimes like there's noises super loud. But sometimes there was things in there, I'll track this back here real quick. Sometimes there were things in the game that didn't detract from my enjoyment. Like I was still really enjoying the game regardless. And I get that way sometimes. Like I'm forgiving if a game is just really good, like Cyberpunk did that sometimes. But yeah, it's a missed opportunity. And then it got review bombed by Metro.uk, who gave it a 3 out of 10. And one of the other problems is there's a difficulty curve that just doesn't really work for an RPG. I'm a level 20 and I'm trying to do a level 17 mission, and I'm getting stomped halfway through. I'll hold this computer while it does a loading for 2 minutes and 45 seconds. I make it like a minute and a half, and I'm stomped, and there's no way I'm going to clear all the enemies. And I just feel like with the gear I have and the level I am, something's not right. So they have a lot to learn in that. So yeah, I don't know. But the other thing is, Rand, I'm sure you've heard how many people are really loving the game regardless of its Metacritic, right?
I mean, you shouldn't let Metacritic sway your opinion. You shouldn't even let anybody sway your opinion on something that if you enjoy. Like, if you really enjoy the Ascent, and I enjoy aspects of this game, I'd probably say it's a 7-ish right now. It'd be higher if it wasn't the issues we were having. And if you're enjoying the game and more than me and Colt, you shouldn't let me and Colt, our issues with the game, take away from your enjoyment. You shouldn't let anybody take away from your enjoyment. If you really like something, then that's awesome. A lot of people use the Metacritic as the be all end all for everything, and I think it's sort of overrated. It's just like, I don't know. People use it for ammunition. Like, this game's like a 75 on PC, and it's the 64 on Xbox because of that one review that gave it a 3. Like, personally, this game is not a 3. I played a ton of games in my life. A million gamer score. Hello. I've actually played games that are 3s and 2s. I doubt this Metro reviewer even knows what a 3 actually is. It's just kind of one of those things where he probably just didn't like the game. It's like, I didn't like the game, hence 3. But I mean, the thing that's great about it is decide for yourself. If you have Game Pass, just download it, check it out. You may really enjoy it, or you may play for a little bit and be like, this isn't for me. And that's the great thing about Game Pass, is it lets you try out all these different types of games you may never have experienced. It saves you money because, like, Ascent is $30. Game Pass is $10 a month. So you're good. Like, right, if you're a subscriber. So make your own decision about it.
And if you're a developer, I mean, whether you're in Game Pass or not, hopefully you can get everything patched up and ready to release, because it can really destroy your reputation or your chances for sequels or something like that. When a game comes out, like, the Ascent's pretty broken for how it is, and I've been talking to Jay Fonzarelli about that. He really gets mad about developers releasing games and selling them when they're broken, and we deserve better, I suppose. We definitely do. We'll go into Halo Infinite here in just in 1 second. Wolf Assassin says, news broke a couple hours ago. 2K is set to reveal a new game this month, set to release between March 30th of 2022. Could this be the rumored Marvel XCOM game, new BioShock, GTA 6? Thanks, and love you guys.
I would say 0 chance on a new GTA 6. That's, according to all rumors, years and years away. Probably another 4 years away, unfortunately.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, we already know about that XCOM Marvel game. It's sort of leaked, so there's a good possibility. Now, he said release, right? It's going to be released. So there's probably be a good chance that that's released.
Released before March 30th is what he said.
Yeah, so I think there's a good chance that that's the game they're talking about. I honestly can't see them releasing a new BioShock that early. They got to go through the marketing cycle. So I don't think it's the new BioShock. It's definitely not the new Grand Theft Auto. So I'm going to go with the leaked XCOM Marvel game that that we already kind of know exists. So
yeah, okay. Well, that doesn't get me super excited, but hopefully it's better than the Avengers. All right, Rand, let's talk about Halo Infinite technical preview. We had fun. There are some things we haven't said about it. Well, tell me, Rand, what do you think of the guns?
Guns are good. Obviously, they need to be balanced out. I enjoyed pretty much all of them except for, I don't know, the what's the one, the light fire one, the one that kind of shoots the
heat wave.
Heat wave. I wasn't really a fan of that gun. I will say I love the Commando, like that automatic DMR-ish weapon. It rips. I like the new pistol. I love the Bulldog. I love giving up in people's faces and unloading it. It's a skewer, right? That big brute weapon that fires.
I don't like the skewer. You like it?
Well, I like it because when you hit somebody, it feels amazing. Like the feedback you get and the sound it makes, it feels like you're firing something that is really dangerous and impactful. The gravity hammer, oh my god, so much fun to use, especially with the grapple shot. So, the weapon you're using here on screen, this plasma rifle.
Yeah, I was a little divisive about that one. Yeah, let's hear your opinion on the plasma carbine.
Sometimes I would like it, but my thing is, I want the carbine back. I want the
single shot.
Yeah. So we'll see about that. I think there's some things they need to tweak a little bit. I think assault rifles are a little bit overpowered. I think the battle rifle is a little bit underpowered. Some of the other weapons, I don't think the pistol needs to be buffed in any way. I think it's fine the way it is.
Yeah, it takes like 4 or 5 shots to kill
Yeah.
with the pistol.
So I'm fine with the weapons. They sound great. They all feel great to use. I'm sure 343 will do some balancing. There's some of the changes from Halo 5 that people either really like or they don't like. No more thrusters. No more Halo 5 thrusters where you can get out of the way of something. No ground pound and no hover. I'm
Chat,
fine with
let us know. I'm sorry, Rand. Chat, let us know if you. It seemed like a lot of people in the community, more than I expected, were playing the beta or playing the flighting. Let us know in the chat. Say I played Halo this weekend, or just write something. I wanted to get a gauge of the people watching. How many of you got to give this a shot? Okay, go ahead. You were saying the.
I was saying they removed some of the mobility, right? They removed thrusters to like kind of get out of a way. Someone's shooting at you, like you thrust away to get behind a door. They definitely, it seemed that they improved the walking speed, and the sprint's still in there, but your sprint is barely faster than your walk. Now, I have seen this come up as a contention point among hardcore about the changes to the radar. Now, before on radar,
I don't even use it.
In the previous games, you would show up on radar if you were, I believe, if you were shooting your gun, and you could remain like hidden from radar if you were crouching or whatever. This one, I want to say you don't appear on radar if you're shooting. However, you do appear on radar if you're sprinting. Now, we have a Halo, a Halo Pro in the chat. One Bad Mother from Xbox era here. Now, he'll correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure those are the changes to the radar. You don't show up anymore when you shoot, and you only show up when you sprint. So if you don't sprint, you won't show up on radar, because you used to show up on radar when you shot. I could be wrong about that. Right. I'm looking for him to see.
That was a Call of Duty thing. That's so weird that I've just totally forgotten about the radar. So let's talk about sound. Somebody's asking about sound. When you're talking about sprinting, Rand, I noticed that they give priority to enemy footsteps when they're running.
Yeah, as they should, because with the way the radar's set up, you do want to be able to hear the enemy's footsteps and kind of get a sense of where they're at. Because without the radar to kind of let you know where the enemies are because they're shooting, you kind of need at least another audio cue. Like, okay, I hear somebody, he's walking here, like he's underneath me, but he's not going to show up on radar. So, I mean, I think the radar thing is a little bit controversial for a lot of hardcore fans. So we'll see how that plays out and if they do make any changes. But I mean, honestly, Colt, like this game feels so like great to play. Like it feels like a marriage between Halo 5 and Halo 3. It feels like it has the newer mobility options from older games, right? I mean, from the newer ones. Like it's got sprint because you need to have sprint in an FPS these days. You absolutely have to. And it has aim down sights because that is also something that games need in 2021. Even though most of the time I never aim down sight unless it's a battle rifle trying to get long range. Like it's just, there's no real reason to. But a lot of newer players or players that play Call of Duty or any of these other games, like they would like, oh, I need to be able to downscope.
I feel like they reward you for hip firing, which it kind of rewards the classic no sprinting hip firing combat, which works really well in this mode. But if you want to sprint and aim down sights, a lot of guns do have ADS, so you kind of do get that perfect marriage of what you. There were some things that people liked about Halo 5, then they liked everything about Halo 3. So you kind of get this classic feel of classic Halo mixed with that mobility and quick movement. Like you can mantle. Like not a lot of people are talking about mantling, which I'm doing in the video. So that's all there. The guns sound really great, right? I like all of them. I think the Needler quieted down a little bit.
Well, the Needler is so OP, it's amazing. I love the Needler. As it should be. It should be an OP weapon. Yeah.
I was having my son watch me play last night, and then he tried it out, and he's like, "Oh, that would be so horrible to get shot with the needler, with the glass needles." I'm like, "Yeah, it's pretty awesome." It brings that fear of the Covenant. So they started us out with What was the name of the first wave of bots that first day? I can't remember now.
So one bad mother says that you do show up on radar when you shoot. So
Okay.
I wasn't
So
sure about
shoot
that.
and sprint, right?
Yeah, shoot and sprint. The name of the first map you show up on, or that we played.
What was the name of the bots? The first.
I want to say it was Marine Bots on Live Fire, which is the map that you're currently playing on here. This kind of seems like an introductory map. It kind of got a little because of the first night. You were just like, like, okay, I get it, but like that's not like one of the best maps they made. However, when I did play on this map against real people, I actually enjoyed the map a lot more.
Oh,
Now, the second day of the beta, when they added Recharge and they added ODST bots, and then finally we got to use the grapple shot, because the grapple shot wasn't in this first map.
No.
That's when it was just like, well, wait a minute. This map is a little more vertical. It's better. It's more well thought out.
Tons of opportunities for people to flank you. And
you got the gravity hammer. You got the grapple shot, so you started seeing the mobility that you could do with the grapple, and it's like people are like, "Oh wait, I see what 343 is doing here." And then the third day we got Bazaar, which is like kind of a open marketplace in like Mombasa, I believe, and they had up the difficulty to Spartan, and that's a really cool map too. And then I did get to play some PvP against real people, and let me tell you, Colt, it was sweaty. It was really sweaty because you're playing with all these people who are like diehard Halo fans, and they are just fighting for every kill. And first game, I got stomped. Second game, we won. Third game, we barely lost. But it was just kind of one of those things.
You had to be on your best.
You had to be on your best. And it's like you had to play totally different than how you played against bots, right? Because they're real people. But it was that like struggle to like. Make sure you're dominating the power weapons and you have those areas down. And I don't know, man, like I just playing it, I'm like thinking to myself, 343, depending on how all this goes, I think they absolutely nailed the multiplayer. I think it's a great combination of Halo 5 with Halo 3. Now we just need to see how Big Team Battle plays out. We need to see how 4v4 and what the playlists are at launch. We need to see how many maps that 343 are going to ship with this title. And then, of course, there's that rumor from the leaks, Colteastwood, that there might even be a battle royale at some point, which is super interesting to someone like me because my love of battle royale.
Oh yeah, you played PUBG for a million hours.
Yeah, so I am.
So the takeaway, which was interesting, that I mean the first night I didn't get in until 11 o'clock on the West Coast. Because it took that long for me to get my access to download the beta. You had it downloaded at like 8 o'clock your time or something.
Yeah, it wasn't pending for me in the Halo Insider thing.
It just was pending the whole night, and I just about had given up, and then it finally got available. But the very next day, if you were on social media, those who didn't get a chance to play, you probably noticed the overwhelming response for Halo Infinite was Halo is back. Like that was one of the great takeaways for any of you who didn't get a chance to play these three maps ad nauseum, which is a great privilege for sure, that Halo is back and people are well impressed, right? Rand, like what's your? I mean, I would just hearing?
Judging from people's reaction as a multiplayer everywhere, like people are excited, man. It seems that 343 has righted the ship, and Halo Infinite is going to launch, hopefully, fingers crossed, this fall with a multiplayer and campaign, and people feel really confident about the multiplayer. I've seen a lot of people say that this game's going to be so huge with free-to-play multiplayer. We just need, like I said, we need to see how many maps they ship with, what the playlists are going to be, and then there's the campaign. The campaign is kind of that unknown at this point. Where if it's really good, I think the game's it's gonna score really well with critics. Like when you talk about like review scores,
if the multiplayer is good and the campaign is enjoyable.
Yeah. But right now, like I'm feeling better about Halo Infinite than I really ever have. Like I've always kind of said 343. It's like they haven't really done. Like Halo 5's multiplayer was amazing, but I didn't think the campaign was all that good. Forza campaign was good, but the multiplayer was bad. And, what they showed at E3 last year had me worried. I was like, oh, what are they doing? The former head of the studio left, Chris Lee, and Joseph Staten had to come in. And it just kind of, all these moves that people leaving, and it just kind of like had the telltale signs of like, of a studio that had issues and had managerial problems and leadership issues. And it's like, oh man, that's really going to affect Halo. And it was just like, oh, man, this sucks. And then this E3 with the showing, people were like, oh my God, this looks really cool. But don't get too excited. Wait till you play it. And then we played it.
Right.
And
it's past the test.
It was just bots and it was just 3 maps. But it's kind of exactly what I want out of Halo. And now we just kind of have the long wait for either the next flight with more PvP and big team battle, or the final release where we're going to have campaign and multiplayer day one. And, hopefully 343 nails everything. And we can be sitting here talking about how 343 is back up there with one of the best studios that Microsoft has. Because a lot of people, when they do their rankings of their studios, like 343 doesn't really you never really talk about them at the top. Right, they're always towards the mid, especially after the purchase of Bethesda, right?
Yeah.
And it's such a shame because Halo is the biggest franchise. 343 is like the biggest studio, so it's like you figure like they should be in the top 5. But for a lot of people, it's just like they've mismanaged Halo for quite some time, that they're not confident in 343 knocking out a park. But then we play the game, and it seems like they did knock it out of the park. So hopefully we can say at the end of the year, 343, we're sorry for having you number 12 out of number 23. Now you're back up there with the workhorse, the coalitions and studios.
The multiplayer
like that, right?
is probably going to be really great. Like Halo 5 has got really great multiplayer, but the campaign wasn't great. So it's really down to if that campaign hits the emotional spots, has all the fun that you expect, and doesn't retread the same enemy over and over like Halo 5 did. But I've got a very controversial prediction question for you, Randall Thor 19, the man with a million.
What's going on?
Do you think it's possible? No, that doesn't give you a prediction question. Let me be more specific. Do you think that we are looking at a separated release for Halo Infinite, like multiplayer launches and the campaign comes later, or like 1 or 2 modes of multiplayer with a promise of more multiplayer so the campaign can come out?
So you're asking me if they're going to ship campaign and multiplayer the same day, right? Is that essentially what you're saying to me?
Essentially what I'm asking, yeah.
I think they will. I think they will launch the same day, I don't think they're going to hold one back to launch the other. Like, they made that promise at E3. Joseph Staten said that, he was pleased to announce that Halo Infinite's multiplayer will launch alongside Halo Infinite's campaign. And that was something Phil's talked about, where they did think about, launching the multiplayer first and the campaign later. But I think launching them as a single product is probably the best.
Yeah.
So I think they'll launch together. I mean, my hope.
How
is
many
that they
modes are we
together.
looking at? How many modes are we looking at launch?
Like we've got modes. I mean, you're probably gonna have your big team battle. You're gonna have your big team battle Slayer, right? You're gonna have your
those are bigger maps with warthogs and wasps.
You're gonna have regular Slayer, right? You're gonna have Team Slayer. You're gonna have
Slayer.
Your team objective modes like capture the flag, oddball, King of the Hill, stuff like that, right? You'll probably have some competitive playlists for people that want more of a challenge and maybe battle rifle starts, or I don't know how they're going to do that.
Is there going to be Forge at launch?
I mean, we know there is Forge. They haven't really talked much about it, unless I'm like, did they?
I feel like I have this memory that Forge was something that was coming later, but I don't know where I got that from. I don't really use Forge, so I don't clock that. That's not something that I've kept an eye on, if Forge is coming. Especially Nick keeps saying SWAT. What is he doing? I'm going to block him. No, I'm just joking.
I mean, SWAT's one of those modes that could be there. I have the feeling, though, that for the launch of the game, there's going to be not as many playlists as you would want. I think they're going to be more concerned about playlist population than having like 30 different playlists at once. So
yeah, it took them 2 years to bring Warzone Firefight, didn't it? That was like 2016,
well,
17?
I don't think there'll be firefights. What I mean by that is like there'll be like a team objective playlist at launch, right? There won't be a dedicated capture the flag playlist or like a dedicated oddball playlist. So if you want to play oddball or if you want to play King of the Hill, you have to go into the team objective playlist and essentially hope you get that. And I think it's going to be the same thing for something like Team SWAT, where you go into Social Slayer or Team Slayer, and maybe one of the things, maybe it's kind of cycles through regular 50, up to 50, and the next one's Shoddy versus Snipers, and the next one's Team SWAT. I don't really think they're going to have like 40 different playlists for people to play through. I think they're going to kind of keep it smaller at the launch and then maybe expand upon it later. At least that's my personal prediction.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, that's there should be plenty to keep people busy. I'm just mad that you think that they don't. I mean, they haven't talked about Warzone Firefight. It's one of my favorite things to play when I'm not doing competitive, because like you're basically competing against score against your team to get better weapons, and I really like that. I don't know if you've even played it, but
play what?
Still, Warzone Firefight. People still log into Halo 5 and play that.
Yeah,
to this day.
It's one of those things that they could add down the road, just like they could add a battle royale down the road. Because who knows? This is supposed to be a 10-year plan, right? This is supposed to be the Halo game for the next 10 years. I would imagine they have a roadmap planned out about things they want to add, new game modes, new maps, new stuff like that. So Warzone Firefight or Firefight could be something they add in year 1 or year 2. So it's not. These live service games that last forever are constantly adding more and more things. Like Apex Legends just added like a 3v3 mode not that long ago. Grand Theft Auto 5 is always adding stuff. It's usually never about launch for these titles. It's always about like you need continuous content. So
yeah. Okay. So the full suite, or at least the full game Halo multiplayer and campaign, still promised to come at the end of the year. And you're thinking, I think you were saying earlier in the show, they're going to launch real close to that 20th anniversary date, right?
I mean, with it not coming out in September, which was always an outside long shot, which would have been cool because we have seen some Halo games launch in September. The thing that then makes the most sense is November 15th, the 20th anniversary of not only Xbox but the first game. The problem, I think, is they have a feeling Call of Duty is launching right around there, like whether it's the 12th or the 16th, and Xbox isn't going to launch Halo the day of Call of Duty or 2 days after Call of Duty.
Call of Duty doesn't come out on a Monday, does it? That's what I'm looking at for November.
No, I mean either Call of Duty will be Friday or it'll be Tuesday, and normally it's Friday, so most likely Call of Duty will either be the 12th or the 19th, right? Or the 12th or the 19th.
Yeah, you're right. I'm looking at the calendar right now.
When you look at it like that, and with Forza Horizon being the 9th already, I guess you can. It doesn't really make sense to launch Halo on the 2nd, although you probably could, and then have Horizon launch the week after. If Call of Duty is the 12th, I just don't see them Microsoft launching the game on the 20th anniversary. I do think they launch it before the holiday, so I think it's the 23rd then. So for me, it's either the 19th or the 23rd. It's either that Friday or the following Tuesday. But then I don't think Halo games have ever launched on a Friday. They're always kind of been a Tuesday thing, if my memory serves me well. So that's why I kind of feel like that's why I feel it's going to be the week of Black Friday. It'll be the 23rd because Call of Duty is basically Call of Duty is going to launch right around the 20th anniversary, and Xbox isn't going to step on their toes. So.
Okay, well, we'll see. I mean, I reported in a video, you gave me such a hard time for good reason, that I had heard that they would release in September because that was like the only spot open for a game, but 343 is not ready for September. You know what should have released in
September? Forza Horizon.
I know. Why?
Forza Horizon always usually releases in September or early October.
Right. Yeah, I think.
I remember
think
watching
Horizon
E3
3 was.
and then we were discussing it later. We like them launching Forza Horizon in November was a surprise, and that really threw off. Like, well, when are they launching Halo then? Do you want to launch Halo and Forza, your two biggest games outside of Minecraft, like within 2 weeks of each other? You know,
Right.
like is that the best thing to do for the games and for Game Pass? Now, granted, Halo's impact on Game Pass isn't going to be as great as it is, or as big as it could be, because the multiplayer is free to play. You don't need Game Pass for it. You know, you only need Game Pass if you want to play the campaign. Now, if they tie some like, hey, if you are a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, you get the first Battle Pass for free. They could do stuff like that and maybe get some people to subscribe. But yeah, Halo, Forza being in November really threw a monkey wrench into some of our predictions and stuff. So
Yeah, and there's a reason why Forza Horizon 5 is pushed to November. They must really needed all of that time, and they knew they could get everything finished. But yeah, that's weird. That's weird. That's really late for Forza Horizon 5, and that really, it's November 9th. So Halo Infinite could come out basically a week after that. I don't know. That's
it could. It's just I think it really honestly, and Phil pretty much alluded to it, where he said they know that of their 3 to 4 week window, and they're kind of just waiting. And what I think he wanted to say was, we just are waiting to know when Call of Duty's releasing. We want to know when it is. You know,
did he say Call of Duty, or he said we just want to look at the?
They want, he didn't mention Call of Duty,
schedule.
obviously,
Right.
but that's clearly what we're talking about. It's like, we know within a 3 to 4 week period. So I honestly, truly believe they just want to know when Call of Duty's coming out, and then they'll appropriately launch Halo.
Announce
at
the
a
release
date.
date.
And I've seen some people in chat like, screw that, launch the same day as Call of Duty, or whatever. Who cares if it's 2 days after Call of Duty? Do it. But it's like, you guys need to understand, like, Call of Duty is a huge revenue driver for Xbox. Activision is as bad as they've been in the news lately and how horrible it all is. They're still a mega partner of Xbox. Like, a new Halo game launching for Xbox is a ton of money, a ton of revenue that they're going to make, and they're going to make sure that they can maximize it not only for themselves but for Activision. And launching a Halo game 2 days later or the same week, I don't really think is like would maximize that. So like, that's why I feel they're going to avoid it by a week. So if Call of Duty is the 12th and Halo's maybe the 19th, or the 23rd, and it sucks because you would want to launch on the 20th anniversary. Like, it really sucks.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's when I think Call of Duty is going to launch, just because that's, maybe Call of Duty's launching further in November, and Microsoft can, or maybe Phil and Bobby Kotick are having negotiations like, hey, can you launch Call of Duty November 23rd and we'll launch November 16th or whatever it would be. Well, no, they couldn't launch the 23rd because Call of Duty always launches on a Friday, but you get my point. So
it's funny that you know that. When I think about when does Call of Duty launch, I'm like, I don't know, November.
It's
around
always
Black Friday.
It's always on Friday. And it launched in October one year because of Red Dead Redemption. I don't know if you remember that. Everybody steered clear of Red Dead Redemption in 2018 because everybody was so scared of it, because it was going to sell so much.
Oh, yes, I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, but Call of Duty last year, they released on the 13th. And that's kind of what I'm expecting this one, especially with the, COVID development. They probably need as much time as they can get, and I think a lot of rumors out there point to this game not being very good, the new COD. So
can I say something kind of crazy? It's your show, Colt.
It's your show. You can say whatever you want.
First, Jonas Lefevre says, not everyone is an FPS guy or a gamer. Forza's same time rules the holidays. So, like, if Forza Horizon 5 doesn't really get in the way of Halo, but the crazy thing I was going to say, and that's a good point from Jonas about how you've got a racing game and a shooter. You can play both at the same time, and they don't really interfere. But it's not far-fetched, Rand, to think that somebody might get a Call of Duty game and play a few matches here or there and go, I've been doing this every year, and it's been 6 years since I played a brand new Halo. So I'm going to set aside Call of Duty for a week, or I'm going to make sure I buy or I get signed up to get into Halo Infinite because it's kind of it's a new experience for a lot of people. Think about the people when they get into a generation of gaming. Those people have been playing the same Call of Duty game, slightly upgraded for years. But doesn't the thought of Halo Infinite get you a little more excited?
I mean, I'm excited. I don't know about everybody else. I mean, there's people out there that only play Call of Duty. That's their jam, man. You know?
Yeah, I know. But that's obviously, like, people who are listening here, we get a little more tingly about a new Halo Infinite, and we may put off playing the next Call of Duty for a few days or a week to make sure we like go headfirst into Halo Infinite. But when you talk about those hardcores that play every single Call of Duty, like, how many of them are going to go, how about a new meal? How about like a new sandwich? And I play some Halo Infinite for a little while, and then they get hooked in. They're like, they tell their buddy, "Hey Jerry, I'm not playing COD tonight. This Halo's pretty fun." Like, is that possible? Come on.
I'm sure anything's possible. Anything is possible.
I
Maybe
mean,
not like the super hardcore COD, but maybe the casual ones. Maybe if like their friends are playing, Halo, and it's like, all right, well, I'll play Halo, and it's, well, you don't need to buy anything because it's free, right? So
yeah. I mean, if you want to give it a shot, you basically have this free to play model, and there was some complaints. Did you hear some complaints about how the Halo Infinite technical preview felt too Call of Duty like in some maps? Did you hear any of that? I heard it once or
I
twice.
didn't hear any of that. Was that really
somebody
a thing?
complained about the bizarre map? Like, oh, that bizarre map that would never belong in the Halo universe. It looks like a Call of Duty map, and I'm like, go back and play the second level in Halo 2.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
People like to complain about everything, Colt. You know this.
You know who doesn't complain? Randall Thor 19.
I don't know about that. I can complain pretty good.
Well, Rand, we've got almost 500 likes. If I had 5 more people to hit the like button, we could close out the show.
And 14
I've got Randall
dislikes. Who are the 14 people that dislike this podcast? Show yourselves.
Well, are you kidding me? Those people hit the down vote and left. But
were those people who hit the dislike button before we even started? The ones who heard subscribe to Colteastwood were, so they can hit the dislike button right away.
Yeah, one more added to it because, hey, I'm embarrassed now. We hit well over 500, but Randall Thor, you're awesome. You're like one of the best gaming guys I know. Like, you're an expert at almost every game. Tell this. Yes, you are. You know what? Don't let Rand be humble because he's a humble brag behind the scenes. I'll give you that.
That is not true. That is not true.
That is so true because Rand's like, I beat that boss on the first try and I didn't even get hit and take any damage. I'm amazing. I was on the stage at Xbox. I know what I'm doing. No,
man.
You are an experienced, great gaming dude. Like, you know your way around the controller. So tell everybody.
You were worried though, Colt, that we were only going to do an hour show because you didn't think there was too much to talk about. But I was like, me and you doing together, we could go for 4 hours.
I mean, we do this on Xbox Live. We talk about the business. We talk about games. We talk about like what everyone's talking about on social media. Yeah, we're good for that. Let's see here. Make sure I didn't miss anything here. Oh yeah, I did miss one. I thought I know you know the answer to this, but Brandon, the man, says, when will Xbox release special edition consoles?
Jeez, it was probably in their roadmap for this holiday before the semiconductor shortage. And
So
with the
sad.
reports that those are going into next year, I don't think we definitely won't see any this holiday. We may not see special edition consoles until 2024. It really depends on how long the semiconductor shortage and all that stuff lasts. Because like you're launching a brand new Halo game, you need a brand new Halo console to go with it, right? Or any of the big franchises. I even wonder, are we going to be getting a Halo controller, like a new controller? Like
now that could happen, but the prospect of them doing custom consoles, knowing they can't even keep them on the shelves, it's not going to happen.
No, I don't think we won't see custom consoles for a bit. But it's possible we do see like 2 custom Halo controllers because I think there were 2 Halo controllers for Halo 5. They did 2, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe at least I want to think it was 2.
They did one and then the one that came with the console?
Yeah, and I think you could
Yeah.
buy either. So yeah, there'll probably be custom controllers for Halo. But yeah, I don't know when we're gonna see custom consoles.
Yeah, normally custom consoles like reinvigorate sales of the consoles and get people buying a new one and trading in their old one. And we're in a situation where a lot of people we talk to, Rand, we talk to a lot of people in what we do, and we talk to a bunch of people who still can't get the console they want. Still to this day. I have a follower of mine who's on the Patreon, Brian Harris. Like he's so frustrated because he's been trying since November. Actually, he's been trying since pre-order. What was that, like July of last year? He's been trying for over a year. And think about how frustrating that is. Rand and I talk about that a lot, how we're trying to bring news to people about gaming and get people excited about what we're excited about. But then there's those people that know that they feel like they have no chance of getting a new console because it's such a ridiculous situation. It's really upsetting.
Yeah,
honestly.
and can you imagine if they did release custom consoles and it was like a really low amount for Halo this fall? How ridiculous it would be to try to get your hands on them. People would just scalp them, right? It'd be really difficult. So
yeah, no, I'm pretty sure if they did a custom Halo console, none of them would get new. They'd all be scalped. It's just such a sad situation. But it's not sad when I've got Rand here. Rand, you're awesome. Tell everybody. Everybody knows where you are. But why don't you do a plug for what you do and when your next video is coming out?
Yeah, so the channel, youtube.com/RandallThor19. We do the podcast every week, whether it's Friday or Saturday, with Jez Corden from Windows Central, which is always, I love podcasting with Jez, and it's always a good time. Next video, last month I got over being sick with pneumonia, which was horrible. I really wasn't really feeling making videos last month, to be honest with you. I don't know, I didn't have the spark or the desire. So but I'm starting to feel it again. So hopefully I can have something out tomorrow, maybe about Halo, my thoughts about it, or how I feel like it's going to perform in the holidays. I don't know. I haven't really been in the video making mood. And I know, sometimes you feel that, and it's just, it is what it is, man. Hopefully I can make more videos this month. I do feel better. And I'm starting to feel like the desire to sit and create again, where last month I was just kind of like, I'm sick, and it's like, I don't really care about any of this stuff. So, look for new videos soon. But Cole, thank you so much for having me on XNC, the Xbox Newscast podcast, every Monday at 7 p.m. Central here on YouTube, but then also on audio, on demand, on iTunes, Google Play, and anywhere else your podcasts are at. It was a great time talking to you. And I didn't have to share the screen with anybody else. It was just me and Colt. There's no third person here. It's amazing.
Yeah, and I'm good with that. I hope the chat was good with just you and me talking, but I feel like this is what we do. Like, we talk gaming all the time. Yep. So it's good. Yeah, news, like you said, news has been quiet. Everything was this big ramp up for E3. We know all the games that are on the way. We're just waiting to hear when they release or what gets delayed. And soon there'll be more stuff for Rand and I to get crazy and just spam YouTube with great, amazing videos, right?
Well, your videos are amazing. Mine are garbage.
Stop, Rand. Yeah. No, Rand's doing great. We'll just keep it up. But yeah, thank you so much for everybody for checking out the show. When everything gets processed and I get a chance to get a bite to eat, I'll put some timestamps on there. People love those timestamps, so we kind of bounced around pretty crazily, didn't we, Rand? So that'll be fun to put those timestamps in. But appreciate everybody for watching the show live and listening on the podcast platforms. We're gonna get out of here. Rand, what are you gonna play tonight?
I'm waving, Colt. I'm waving.
He's waving. What are you gonna play tonight?
My imaginary camera. There's no Halo. I'm sad.
I know they shut it
and
off.
I kind of getting to the point where the Ascent, where it's like, it kind of getting a little more difficult. It's like, do I need a co-op partner to help me with some of this stuff? Honestly, I just kind of really want to play Hades. Just kind of waiting for Hades to come out.
When's that coming out?
The 13th.
Okay.
August 13th. I'm really excited to play that. So,
yeah, I'm going to give the Ascent a few more sessions. We talked to Jez about his review, when he started off the Ascent, he was really, really liking it, but some of the things bogged it down with all those problems we've talked about. And I'm kind of getting to that point where Jez was when he was kind of telling you, like,
I actually, I'm gonna try to finish the Ascent, Colt, and I actually kind of want to play that indie game that came out last week, Omno. Supposed to be a pretty relaxing 3 to 4 hour game. I might play that.
I started. It's really nice, but it's
made by
frames.
like one guy, right?
Yeah, it's a 30 frames game for some reason.
Ooh,
but
30 frames.
But it's so beautiful, and it's a side scroller, so you don't really notice. You're not moving the camera, so that's a big difference. Of when you move the camera, that's when you notice the 60 or not. So
you're gonna be flying, right? You're gonna be taken to the sky, flying over Walt Disney World.
I might do some flight sim. Actually, this weekend I'm actually flying for real over to Idaho, of all places, to see my older brother's band have a reunion. My brother was in a late '80s rock band that was amazing. So they're doing a reunion, and my brother and I are going to fly over there and watch them play, and then I'll get right back to all this stuff. So, yeah, thanks so much for checking out the show. We're going to get out of here, and Rand, order some good food because we're going to go out on Xbox Live tonight, and we're going to chat it up, all right?
Yeah. All right. I'm waving
thanks so much, guys.
Later.
See ya.